Actor Tom Sizemore passed away. Tom Sizemore, who had a very, very, very good career in the movie Heat. I worked with him in True Romance. He was in that movie. I think his big break was in that movie with Sylvester Stallone, DTA, Don't Trust Anybody. The one where Stallone was in prison. Black Hawk Down, Saving Private Ryan. And, very, very talented, came on the scene, made a lot of noise, had, the looks, the charisma, the skills to really make a name for himself as an actor. And he really did a lot of great work in a lot of films. A lot of people reached out to me because I think they assumed I was good friends with Tom. I was not good friends with Tom. I was friendly with Tom. During a period of time, he was always cool with me. We were very, very excited. All of us, him, like I've talked about all the time, doing the movie True Romance. Sizemore had really been rocking and rolling. Me, Kevin Corrigan, Chris Penn, who also passed, Paul Ben Victor. I remember a lot of days on the set of that movie during the shootout scene, because that shootout scene we shot for an entire week, every single day at the old Ambassador Hotel, which is where Robert Kennedy got shot and inevitably died at that hotel. That's where we shot that scene. And a couple of Polaroid photos that I put out there have surfaced. And, when someone passes, you start to think and conjure up memories. And, Tom was always cool with me. He was, big personality. I was young. We liked Tom. He liked to talk a lot of shit, liked to tell stories, loved acting, loved actors, loved girls, loved the women, loved being successful. That was, I didn't stay in touch with him that much after that, just because, people go their ways. And, and it was very public, the problems Tom had with drugs and alcohol. And, it's really sad because, I always knew he was a good dude and a sweet guy, although he played these tough guys. And, he wasn't like that. When I knew him, and I knew him as a sober, young, excited, ambitious, actor. He played these brash characters, but I just saw like a sweet guy who was excited to be working and excited to be, starting a career. Thoughts to his family and to his friends, and of course the fans. Tom Sizemore, another person, 61 years old. But I mean, just when you play around with that lifestyle, when you play around with those drugs and the alcohol, and you go so deep in it, your body can only withstand so much. There's only so many people that could do all that craziness and make it out on the other side. Lawrence Taylor being one of them. Now, you might say, Mike Ramp, that's a weird segue. That's a weird comparison. Like maybe the reason why I'm pivoting from Tom Sizemore to Lawrence Taylor played football, finished playing football, and he still talks about, how he would get down. LT was out there, the MVP of the NFL. On everything. Hookers, he was doing it all. Which brings me to Ja Morant. That's the pivot. I went from Tom Sizemore to LT to Ja Morant. Ja Morant, who, great basketball player, 23 years old, who is now stepped away from his team, the Memphis Grizzlies, because of yet another gun incident. Ja Morant, after losing to the Denver Nuggets, was in a strip club with his shirt off. Right then and there, if you're in a strip club with your shirt off, gun, no gun, sober, or with a couple of drinks in you, it's already a bad night. Because if you're in a strip club with your shirt off and you choose to post that on social media, I don't care if you're a street baller, I don't care if you're a footballer, I don't care what you do. You're already looking for trouble. Things are already not going your way. You think they're going your way because you're like, yo, I'm chest naked in the strip club. Check me out. Things are not going your way. Because first of all, why you got your clothes off in the strip club? Second of all, why you got your clothes off in the strip club? But Ja Morant with the guns, and there's been last week, I didn't even discuss it because I was like, he's just like, what is this guy doing? There was a report that came out in the Washington Post, not Us Weekly, not People Magazine, not some, gossip site. Not that Washington Post is, everything they say is etched in stone and full truth and nothing but the truth. But there was a report that came out that months ago, Ja Morant had gotten to an altercation at his house with a 17-year-old while they were playing a pickup basketball game. I guess it was this high school, up-and-coming player. They got into an altercation at his crib. Okay, that happens. But not only did they get to an altercation at his crib, then Ja Morant came out on some Master P, Tupac waving a gun, or he had his gun in his holster, and he had his, he's flashing a gun at a 17-year-old. And in January, there was another situation where Ja Morant's homeboys, or Ja Morant and his homeboys, were leaving the Indiana Pacers facility, the Indiana Pacers arena, which I can't remember the name of it, and they had a problem with a security guard, and the security guard filed a police report, an NBA-affiliated security guard. So the NBA, they don't hire just Joe Schmo people. They hire like ex-cops, high-end. It's the NBA. It ain't like Paul Bart mall cop. They hire real people. That NBA is a big, big corporation. If you work for the NBA for security, you're like X something. And allegedly, Ja Morant and his friends had put red lasers on him. And this security guard filed a report because he was saying that the lasers were coming from guns, And now this. And people, everybody has something to say about it. Ja Morant put out a statement saying, he apologizes, this, that, and the third. It was a very well-written statement. And a lot of people are saying, I hope he gets the help he needs. Where do you go to get help if you have like an affinity for flashing guns? My friend, and I'm going to do this the way Chris Rock did it, because Chris Rock did his special, and it was great, and I'll do a full review another time. But there's a controversial part of the Chris Rock special where he's talking about if his father came out as a transsexual, or if his father became a transsexual, if his father became a woman. And Chris Rock prefaces it by saying, this ain't me. I have no problem with anybody. I'm an artist. I would have no problem if my father came out and transitioned to it as a woman. But my brothers would, which was, I don't know if this was true or if he was being very, very smart and tactical, because taking it off of himself, and he said it at least 2 times, maybe 3 times, very clearly saying, I don't have no problem. I wouldn't have a problem. But my brother, and I think his brother's name was Andre or Dre or something like that. And then Chris Rock goes into how his brother would respond to his father becoming a woman. Still, there's flack about it. Ja Morant being shirtless in a strip club at 5:30 in the morning with a gun on his own Instagram Live. It's not like someone videotaped him with a gun. He had the gun and put it on his own social media. There ain't no place to go get help for that, except the rehab. My friend, not me, my friend Barr suggested to me, this is not me, my friend Barr suggested that Ja Morant is on that LT. That Ja Morant is on that yayo. That Ja Morant is on that booger sugar. That Ja Morant is on that white girl. Because the only way, there's no bad decisions. A 23-year-old sober NBA star who's literally worth probably $500 million. He's got a $230 million contract with the Memphis Grizzlies. He's got his own shoe with Nike. He's the face of some sports drink, not Gatorade, one of these drinks. He's got endorsements up the wazoo. So let's say he's close to $500 million. Worth it. Or it's coming to him. When you're in a strip club at 5:30 in the morning, and allegedly you flew that gun from Denver back to Memphis on the team plane. It had been in the Denver Nuggets arena. And you've had all these incidents with guns. You're in the strip club with no shirt on, chest naked, at 5:20 in the fucking morning. 5:20 in the fucking morning. I get you're 23. Cool, you want to be in the strip club at 5:20 in the morning, but when you're in the strip club at 5:20 in the morning and you're flashing a gun on your own Instagram Live, again, nobody caught him with the gun. This was a decision. Like, you know, when I do my stain Donald Trump rants, that's a decision. Stain Donald Trump this, stain Donald Trump that. And I got to eat. There's ramifications for talking shit. When you decide to videotape yourself with a gun with no shirt on at 5:30 in the morning, you cannot be fucking sober. I don't know if it's a mix of alcohol and weed, or that white girl, but he has to be on something. So when he says he's going to step away from the team and get the help he needs, reading in between the lines is he's going to some sort of rehab because he must be on some shit. Because he ain't dumb. Your friends ain't sitting there telling you to do it. You're choosing to do this. You have to be on that booger sugar or something, allegedly. In my opinion, my man Barr suggested it. I didn't suggest it. My opinion is that my friend Barr is right, allegedly, about his opinion about Ja Morant. Because all this, get the help you need, nah. And what Ja Morant, and any of these athletes and rappers with the guns, but specifically Ja Morant, you ain't Steven Seagal. You ain't Jason Bourne. Like, what are you actually going to do with that gun if somebody tries to rob the $30,000 of gold teeth you have in your mouth? You're going to get on some Action Jackson shit? You're going to shoot somebody? Like, what are you going to really do with the gun? You're not like Tony Soprano or something like that. You're a 23-year-old basketball player from a good family whose father comes to every single game. I haven't spoken to my father in 5 weeks. Ja Morant's father is at every single game. He probably flies with the team. And Ja Morant's father, if you're at every single game, why you ain't at the strip club with him? You need to mind this fucking kid. And I know you can't control it. And it's nobody's fault. It's his fault. It's inevitably all falls on the shoulder of Ja Morant. But you're barking up the wrong tree. Like, you are barking up the wrong tree. And getting yourself in trouble. And I wish him nothing but the best. Listen, 23 years old, people make mistakes. He can really, really turn this around. And you do need to get the help that you obviously are in dire need for. Ja Morant. Done. Came, saw, disrupted. I am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Yo, I appreciate you watching. Subscribe, rate, review. Okay, subscribe, rate, review, and tell a friend to tell a friend. And leave a comment. Yo, you got something to say? You got thoughts? You like? You don't like? Opinions? Ideas? Let me know in the comments. I read them all.